Hey guys, it's me, Kezia, leading female dating and attraction expert for men. Today I'm going to look at a question which is really annoying me, and that is how important are looks? Do looks matter? Now this question is spreading like a virus, hence why there's so many videos out there of well-meaning dating coaches, life coaches, confidence experts giving their point of view, their answer to this question. And the reason why it's annoying me is because I feel that this is becoming the ultimate glass ceiling excuse. Men used to use wealth as a glass ceiling excuse. They used to say, well, I'm not wealthy, therefore I'll never attract the kind of women that I want to attract. Then they started blaming it on success or the lack of success. But then they realized, well, actually you can become successful and you can become rich, but you can't become good looking. I mean, you can't really take a donkey and turn it into a racehorse. Doesn't matter how many products you buy, doesn't matter how long you spend at the gym, you can't turn shit into gold. So now they found the glass ceiling excuse, I like to call it. It's like the ultimate one. You know, I'll never be that good looking guy. I'll never have those chiseled features. I'll never be 6'2". Therefore, I have no chance with women. Now, firstly, what I'm not going to do in this video is go through a long list of famous guys who are not considered by the mainstream to be good looking but are still successful with women. I'm not going to go through all the men who are under 5'8" either, because you know who they are. Okay, you've probably, if you're watching this video, done your research. So we're not going to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give you a few new appraisals that will hopefully percolate through. I'm also going to be giving you some logical evidence, and I'm going to go through the inevitable rebuttals to my responses, okay? Because I know all the arguments. I have been teaching guys since 2006. I've heard every excuse, I've heard every argument and every reason for why they believe that looks is ultimately what's going to seal the deal, or not seal the deal. So let's first of all start off with logical evidence. Okay, let's look at some facts here. I've been running boot camps and 7-day mastery courses across the world since 2006, as I said, and I have seen a lot of men. And I would say about 10 to 15% of the guys who have come to me have been what is considered by Western standards as very good looking, as, you know, like head turners. Then I would say about another 20% of that are just good looking guys, like nice looking guys. And then the rest are average to below average physically. But let's just look at the guys who are in that 15%, 10-15% who are very good looking, very strikingly, noticeably handsome men. If it was all about looks, what are they doing on my course? Surely they could just walk into a bar and attract any woman because they were good looking. Okay, so that's one piece of logical evidence which goes against the whole theory that it's all about looks. But let's turn it up a notch. I have a lot of video testimonials from past students, and one of them happens to be a very good looking guy. I mean, he's not super good looking, but he is noticeably good looking, and he did our 7-day mastery course. And he was giving, you know, he was opening his soul, explaining how he was before he did the 7-day course, how rubbish, how shy, how insecure he was with women, and how he felt that after the 7-day program, you know, that he was getting results that he didn't think were possible, and he just had a completely different mindset. And, you know, watch the video to see for yourself his story. And I looked at some of the comments, and I realized that so many people were saying, yeah, but it's because he's good looking. Yeah, that's easy for him to say because he's 6 foot, even though he wasn't, but they presumed he must have been 6 foot. And what I thought was like the elephant in the room that no one was talking about was, no, hold on, this guy came on a 7-day course. This guy didn't suddenly become good looking. He changed his attitude. So although I put out a lot of video testimonials of my good looking students and my less attractive students and show that they all get the same, roughly the same level of results, even though that evidence is out there, this is not anecdotal evidence. This is not me sitting here going, I had a student once. I've got it out there. I've shown, look, here's the videos, go see for yourself. And yet, because it doesn't fit in with somebody's excuse that they've created, it doesn't fit in with this reality that they've created, they'll dismiss it or they'll ignore it. So answer this question: if it's all about good looks, why are there good looking guys on my course? If it's all about good looks, then why do I have physically unattractive men on my course doing just as well as the good looking guys who came on my course? It doesn't make sense, does it? It really, if you ask yourself that question properly, you free your mind, take away all the emotional micro reactions that you have, and you're just placed with that evidence, it's not going to fit in with this idea that you've created, this excuse, this ultimate excuse. It's not going to fit well with it. So now I'm going to take it a little bit more personal, okay? I'm going to open up to you. This is how strongly I feel about it. I'm going to open up to you. I am a very visual person, okay? It's kind of strange, but I see music, I don't hear it. And apparently it's like 4% of the population have this same idiosyncrasy. Should we just call it that? So if you're one of the 4% out there, please could you just leave a comment and say, yeah, me too. I'd like to feel that I'm not alone on this. But anyway, I'm an extremely visual person, and I like a good looking face. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I am more visual than most girls. So if a good looking guy approaches me, I am going to let him run rings around me for 10 minutes. Whereas the other girls, maybe they'll give him a couple of minutes. And I'll give him 10 minutes. And if in those 10 minutes he cannot back up those good looks, he gets the heave ho. Okay, don't call us, we'll call you. He gets that response. Now, most women are not so visual, okay? I'm particularly visual. So even someone like me will give that person a certain amount of time to show that they are more, that they've got game, that they're more than just a pretty face, they're more than just a good looking guy. So good looks are not good enough. Always keep saying good looks are not good enough. And you know that yourself when you've dated a woman who is good looking, but she's not sexy, she's insecure, stupid, whatever qualities you don't find particularly attractive, you realize that you are less attracted to her than the girl who's maybe not physically the hottest girl, but she's really sexy. She's really confident. You just know she's going to be really dirty in bed. Whatever it is that does it for you, that girl's going to be 10 times more appealing than the pretty picture. Now, on another personal level, I can tell you about a guy that I used to know, and he was 5'5", not good looking at all. No one would have considered this guy attractive, but he got a lot of women. I mean, you know, he always was with minimum a 7 or an 8. And again, all the people out there that think it's just about looks, here's more evidence that I'm giving you, and I'm sure you've got a perfectly amazing excuse for why he got women. Maybe he was a millionaire or something and I forgot to tell you that. Okay, not the case at all. He just had an amazing amount of game. But anyway, he was 5'5", and the interesting thing is nobody described him as short. So when you asked about him or he came up in conversation, no one would say, oh yeah, he's short, or he's a short guy. They would actually talk about, you know, his personality a lot more and his energy. Even though he gave himself a nickname which personified like short guys. I'm not going to say what the name was, but it was a name which is famous for it's a short character's name. I don't want to say the name because, you know, I haven't asked his permission if I can do this video about him at all. And yeah, and he owned being short to that point. You know, he used to go and make jokes about, like, you know, short men, tall men. And he used to, there was a time when he would, chat up line would be, he'd go up to a girl and say, the English will get this joke because it doesn't, I don't think it translates well in American, but he would say, can you lend me £1? I'm a bit short. And they would always laugh at that. And I've got also lots of these kind of one-liners that I give to my older students. And we had a student, he was in a wheelchair. I know I'm drifting off on this one a bit, but this is a completely unplanned video, by the way. But we had a guy in a wheelchair that came to us. And the trainer said to him, you know, obviously the girl's going to say, like, you know, why are you in a wheelchair? Were you born that way? You were in an accident? And his line was, the truth is, I have such a huge dick that I have to have this wheelchair made for me to support, you know, this this horse-like quality that I have. And women like found it hysterically funny. So he'd actually use something which a lot of people would consider, you know, in his case, definitely a handicap, or something which they felt was unattractive, and he would use it as the pivot to build attraction. Now, the whole looks thing is relative to women too. Okay, so this is what I want to end with. I take my students sometimes to strip clubs. We do it not to pick up table dancers, but to help them overcome certain anxieties. I'm not going to go through that right now. That's another video for another time. But what they notice in the strip club is that most of the really hot girls, I'm talking about like the 9s or 10s, the mythical 11s, they don't do as well as some of the less physically attractive women. And this is because the women who do well rely on game, and the women who don't do well rely on looks. If a man comes in to a strip club, you'd think, well, obviously he just wants the good looking girls, you know, he just wants to see the most aesthetically beautiful creature in the room, and he wants to see her naked. Well, yes, he does. When he first goes in, he's like a kid in a candy shop. And he will pick the 6'1" blonde Icelandic beauty, and he will pick the hot, curvy Brazilian, or whatever he's into. And he will have a couple of dances with them, and you have a couple of dances with another beautiful girl. And by maybe, you know, the third, fourth girl, the fifth or sixth dance, he's done. You know, there's only so many donuts you can eat. And he'll end up talking to his friend, or just, you know, enjoying maybe the pole dancing show, whatever it is. He's not going to be as enthused. He's not so excited. He's not in that candy shop anymore. He's kind of like, the novelty's worn off. And then, literally like a shark, okay, finding her prey, you'll get the less attractive girl come and sit next to him, and he'll look at her and he'll be like totally like, yeah, you know, I've just had like 6'2" Inga from Sweden dance for me. You know, girl next door sits next to him. What does she have to offer? And then you watch this girl in action, and it's incredible. It's incredible. It's like a machine. She's witty. She has tons of sound bites. She can connect with him. She can challenge him. She mind fucks him. Okay, she mind fucks him. She has everything that those beautiful girls lack. They were just pretty. They were pretty. They had no game. They had no banter. They had no wit. They couldn't connect. Now imagine if they could do both, then wow, they'd be millionaires. But these girls would come in under the radar, and then they would bewitch. They would literally bewitch these guys. And it was incredible to watch the less physically attractive girls shovel in the money. They would shovel in the money until there wasn't a dollar or a pound coin or whatever left for anybody else. And my students would watch these girls in action. I go, there you go. Looks don't matter. Even in a strip club, guess what? Looks don't matter. It's those girls who've got game that are going to be cleaning up. So I want you to think about some of these points that I've made today, because I have looked at other videos that talk about looks, and I think there's some really, really strong, good advice. But I wanted to add something maybe that wasn't covered in some of those other videos. You know, you have no alternative. You know, you can go to the gym, you can look your best, sure, and I encourage that. But like I said, you can't turn a donkey into a racehorse. There's a limit. And you're never going to be everybody's type. And I always say game out much as type anyhow. You're never going to be everybody's type. So the alternative, okay, is either you've got two alternatives. You can sit at home and you can say, look, I'm just not good looking. I'm never going to be James Bond. I'm never going to be that really good looking guy. So I might as well just watch all the, you know, good looking guys get all the girls, which you know is not the case, because you've seen, you know, hundreds and thousands of men in the street who are not good looking get hot girls. But I'm sure you've got good excuses for them also. So you can do that, or you can go out there and run some high-level, serious, Class A game and get the beautiful women. And it doesn't matter if you're balding, it doesn't matter if you're short, it doesn't matter if you're too tall. You'll still be able to get those women if you run game. If you run Really good quality game. So the moral of this video is, if you're not good looking, run game. If you are good looking, run game. Doesn't matter. Good looks are not good enough. Just remember that. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. I was quite emotional in it. It's a bit of a rant. I went off a couple of tangents. It was very freestyle, this video, because I feel passionately about it. So if you want to find out more about me, my live events, my DVDs, my ebooks, check out the website www.kezia-noble.com, and I hope to see you soon on one of those live events. Take care.